Hello there, everyone. I hope you're doing well tonight. We're going to be playing through Little Samson on easy for any percent. And I do want to send an apology. If you happen to hear my youngest talking, it's because he's still awake. Run got moved up a little bit, so you may hear that, because I am a single father. But here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be hopefully a pretty straightforward game. I'm hoping that we don't die and we can get through it relatively easy. There's about 3 bosses that are a little more difficult and hard to do optimally, but I do have some backup strats that I can pull out and some backup items I can get just to be safe. The run is basically going to start pretty linear, as long as I don't hit that guy right there. We have to do all 4 character stages back to back before we actually have the option to change into different characters throughout the run. So of course we're starting with Samson, which I was looking up a guide for item drops to see if there's anything to it. Apparently his name is Lickle? That doesn't sound right. So I'm just going to call him Samson. And he has about the quickest stage right here. We just don't want to run into the big red guys. We want to try to damage boost when possible. But when we run into an enemy like that, we take way too much damage. So ideally we want to get hit by the little projectiles like that. Because we only took a minimal amount of damage, we're actually not going to grab the backup health there. Oh my goodness. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. So this is stage 1. We'll just wipe that from the book and pretend that never happened. No one saw that. That's okay. This is a really fun game, though. Like I said, it's really linear in the beginning, but after you get past basically the tutorial, it really opens up, and you can select any character for any stage, and it basically gives you the ability to play it the way that you want it. So with Samson here, he has more HP and can have more large amount picking up health grades, but he doesn't do a lot of damage. When you compare that to someone like Dragon, who can move faster, the attacks don't really do as much, and then Golem, who's a lot slower, but attacks do more. And then, of course, there's the star of the show, which is going to be Mouse, which would be getting to Mouse right now if I didn't die. But that's okay. More Little Samson content. Because we took an extra thing of damage right there, I am going to grab this backup part really quickly, just to be safe. Ideally, that's what we want to do, is just go right through there. And then we're pretty much good to go. And then that's stage 1. First try. The one thing I do have to say about this run, I do like to usually start with trivia on games like this. Little Samson is actually one of the most expensive NES carts. So if you do like this game, I would recommend not trying to get it for an actual console, and just go with emulator, because it's around $1,500, which is a little bit higher than what most other carts run for the NES. The other thing is that I'm not going to be doing any of the zips in this run. I didn't have enough time to put that in and work on them. That was completely my fault. I'm sorry. I didn't have enough time to work on them, but the world record and higher tier runners of this game can basically complete the game in about 10 minutes, because you can skip almost every single level from about half to roughly 3/4 of it doing the zips. It's just like I said, I didn't have enough time to put in to learn the zips. I had to start on Monday due to some health things that came up over the weekend. So, oh my goodness, that's not good. All right, we have died 2 levels, and I swear I won't die anymore. I swear I am okay at this game. And then this is Golem. Golem is a little bit slower. I like to call him Knight. And ideally, when you're using him, it's going to be when you need to go through something that has spikes, because he's immune to spike damage, or he's really quick at killing the wizards. So Mouse is going to always be the optimal kill besides the dragon boss, which we'll see in just a little bit. But the issue is that Mouse kind of really can't kill the dragon because of, it being on the other side of the stage. With Golem, because of the way he attacks, you have to basically make sure that you're going to hit the enemy in the air, because if not, you're going to have a large delay on your attack and have to wait for them to come down. Kind of like there, it would have been better for me to damage boost, And then we have to kill this one at the end, or else we'll hit it. And then the star of the show is Mouse. Mouse is very fragile, but Mouse is incredibly versatile in its speed, and it does massive damage. These little bombs right here can basically be stacked, and you can knock out a boss who would take roughly, 30, 40 hits to kill with any other character in 2 seconds flat. Mouse is ridiculously OP. And then what I like to do here, you can take the top route, it's a little bit faster, but on the bottom, you basically just run across, and you'll ensure that you make it every single time. You want to be really careful, because Mouse has such little HP in the beginning of the game. If you get hit by almost anything, you'll die. And then this comes to the first boss. So we're technically not partners with them yet. We're going to make up the story as we go. We'll just say the dragon's possessed. And then what we want to do is, because the dragon will attack when we attack, we have to be close enough, and then we have to try to spam, but also try to go slow enough to where we can basically stagger the hits to hit dragon to allow us to basically stun lock him, is the best way to put it. I was going to use Mouse here, but because this run's already been cursed, I'm going to go ahead and just use Dragon. Mouse is about 10-12 seconds faster, but these little green guys are kind of RNG heavy on how they do spawn. And if you get really bad luck, you can just get put into a position where you'll take 3 or 4 hits of damage because of the way that the projectiles work. Someone in an earlier game mentioned that, you don't want too many projectiles on screen. That also does apply with this game because the projectiles will stay with you. So if you're in a position where you've got one enemy who's shooting 3 or 4 and another one shooting 2 or 3, it can put you in a really bad time to where you might have 7 or 8 projectiles on screen that you now have to dodge. Like this right here where that one came from the back. That's okay, and we can go through that really quickly because there's health right up here. But you want to try to avoid those as much as possible, just for the fact that you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you can't necessarily win or get out of it without losing a life. Because you get 4 continues, I think it is, on easy altogether, but if you put yourself in a position to where you can't get out, you're going to end up losing. And then we're going to pick this up here really quick for the final boss. Actually, we're going to use this just to be safe. And now we'll go into this boss with full HP. And then this is the Cyclops boss. It's a relatively straightforward boss, but without full health, it can be a little bit dangerous. But now we're going to get to see where Mouse actually shines. We lay down the bombs, and we can almost kill the boss in 1 hit. And then we're going to start phase 2. But because we have full health now, we should be able to go through this and just sit here, rather than dodging, and let it die. And we have to kill this boss with the mouse to activate the glitch. That was my fault. Basically, by killing this boss with the mouse, it really confuses the game, and it ends up letting us skip about 3 levels, I believe it is. So, no matter what, even if you want to play this safely, because this ogre does do a lot of damage, you have to kill it with the mouse to activate the glitch. If not, you're going to be running several extra stages, which is no bueno. Ideally, though, you do just want to sit here. Hopefully I can get it this time. And then just damage through it. Yeah, see? So I kind of set myself up there and put myself in a bad position where I moved left and I couldn't get back to the enemy. And then having those projectiles on screen is what caused me to basically take the extra damage that cost me the life. This level right here is the next one up. We're going to do this, and I'm hoping I can get this. This is a little bit tricky. Ideally, you would use mouse, but Dragon can fly over everything. You just want to make sure that you don't hit the spikes, just like that. You get 2 chances. If you hit the spikes, then you have to restart. Dragon is about as fast as what mouse can do it, but a little bit slower, but also safer. But if you get into a position like that, where the platform's going up and you tap X, you're basically going to go straight up into those spikes. So it's a little more dangerous. But overall, especially at the beginner level where you're still learning to run, it's safer. There we go. We got 1 more. To be safe, what I'm going to do is we're going to switch up here, just to make sure that we don't take the extra damage. And then these little power-ups right here, I didn't get a chance to mention it earlier, are extra health upgrades. Essentially, each character has a max amount of HP. Mouse is 10, Dragon is 12, I believe. And what'll happen is... There we go. What'll happen is, if you get to the max, then it won't actually do anything. But you can optimally move around characters' max HP to make it easier. Like what I have right now for the final boss, in case it were to go sideways, we can set up a extra strategy and use Samson instead. And if we give him extra HP, he can take 3 hits instead of 2. So this is Skulls. This is going to be another boss. Hopefully we can get the fast kill here. We want to manip him over to the left. Almost. So the bombs are a little bit kind of like a razor's edge with the mouse. You have to let them explode, which means they can't get hit. If they get hit, then they're going to do very minimal damage. But if they actually are allowed to explode, they'll do massive damage. And when you chain 2 or 3 of them together, you'll do even more overall. And we're going to try to show off a mouse in this stage. This stage is a lot easier. Once you do it, you damage boost through here, and then you can just drop down. You got to be careful not to hit that like I just did, and then mouse will get the health upgrade. This is going to be a little bit harder because I hit that spike on accident, but we should still be fine because there's a health upgrade up here. And then just for safety, because you know it is a marathon, we're going to grab the extra life, switch to Dragon, and then we'll just finish the level. The great thing about this game is that each stage can basically be done with one person. There's parts of a stage where one character might excel, and then there's other parts where another character would be hindered. But optimally, you want to try to be mouse as much as possible. And this is what I was talking about with trying to set yourself up with health upgrades. We want to make sure that Dragon and Samson have more health, because we're going to use them on the Dragon boss coming up. And then we're also going to make sure that we have enough boss HP for the final boss. Going into the final boss, you have to have 10 HP, or you cannot do the fast kill. The fast kill is difficult to set up, but if you don't have max HP, then you will die every single time, because its attacks do 4 damage. You can get away with it with 9 and you'll have 1 HP, but 10 is optimal just to be safe. And then same thing, we're going to set this up, and we're going to... No one saw that. We're going to set this up again to get Dragon just a little bit more HP. We're going to hit that and jump back. And then we're almost at the end of the stage. We're going to really utilize mouse for this boss coming up. And then we can just sit up here with Dragon and basically fly over everything. Once you get into a rhythm with mouse here, you can just jump around and through everything. But Dragon is really just an extra thing for safety. And then this is where Golem's going to come in handy. You can fast kill with mouse, but Golem has really high defense and HP, and he does a lot, especially if you come here and you can line it up and you can spam. It's not as good as Mouse's bomb, but it does work. And then we're going to try to bait this guy to do a regular attack just like that. And we're going to set up bombs right in front of him. And of course, I missed every single time. Do I even play this game? Well, that was Mouse dying. This is one of the 2 bosses that if you hit them, they will do massive damage. So you have to be very careful. Ideally, though, he would have already been knocked out. We wouldn't have to have jumped over him. But it does happen. Sometimes, you know, you'll push the bombs just a little bit too far out. Or you'll push them a little bit too far forward, and the enemy will run into them. But it's one stage at a time. Go here. Alright, nice. We did almost half his HP. We want to try to bait him to attack so that he walks into it. There we go. Just like that. That was pretty easy. I do apologize I died on the first one. There are some bosses where if you just get a really bad pattern, it might be easier just to wipe when you're at a beginner level or even an intermediate level. Just because going for a different style to kill or a different character to kill could end up not being beneficial. Like here, we want to use Mouse, but we also want to make sure that we preserve Mouse's HP as much as possible. And Dragon can go through that really quickly. And this part up here is kind of where we get to the bullet spam part. it's not very difficult, but if you let too many enemies spawn, you're going to end up with 12, 15 projectiles on the screen, and it's actually going to cause the game to lag dramatically. And when the game lags, one little frame of lag could end up you missing a jump like that, and if you jump into the Fanta Orange River, you would just end up dying instantly. And you saw that earlier with Dragon. And then this is going to be the one boss where we're actually not going to utilize mouse after this portion. So we're going to go through our regular. I timed it just a little bit late. We want him to explode. So you can see the damage difference. I did about 3/4 of his HP compared to doing just a little bit. And then we have to make sure we dodge. This is where we're going to utilize Dragon. So Dragon right now has about 7 HP left. This boss does 2 damage for each one. But if he rushes us, I have to dodge it. If I don't rush it, then we're sadly gonna take a life, which will be okay, because we'll have enough HP for the next time. But basically, we're gonna duck here, we're just gonna do this, and then we're gonna spam. If you hear my controller, I'm sorry. And that was just bad luck. There's a slight visual cue for when he's going to do that, but if you're spamming to try to get it done as soon as possible, it can be a little bit hard to dodge. It's probably about what I've noticed from doing runs and practicing. It's about maybe 1 in 10 that he decides to do it, so it's definitely not very good luck where he does decide to rush. And then with Samson having the other health picked up, it allows him to take 3 hits as well. So if Dragon were to take just too much damage from really bad luck of him doing only up attacks, because he has 2. He has one where he can shoot out of his mouth, and then he has one where he'll shoot out of his wings. If we get too many mouse, then they might take too much damage. Just like that. We just want to sit here and we want to spam... What? What? It's cliche to say, but I've never had that happen. I've never gotten charged twice in a row. Wow. Okay, well, everyone just wants to see this boss again. So this is our star mouse. He's going to blow up this guy. And we're just going to pretend that the last, 30 seconds never happened. Wow. First time. It's very cliche to say that, but I practiced this boss about 20 times today alone, and I've never had him do a double rush. I've gotten the rush on the first time a few times, but it feels like it's about 1 in 10, maybe 1 in 8, but I've never gotten it twice in a row. Just crazy. He's going to always start with that. Okay, there we go. We got the wings, so we can go like that. We're just going to spam, and we're going to go for the kill. Ha! I saw it coming that time. That's what you're supposed to do. First time. First try. There we go. And then, next up, this is going to be... I'm gonna be nice with it, but this morning when it was starting with Cat, everyone was... No, not everyone, but someone said that we need to keep a tally of how many people want to curse out Dave for getting this game. This boss made me feel that way. I should have picked that up with Samson. I had the wrong character. This boss made me feel that way. Death is incredibly difficult to do, and his little spawns are just a complete pain in the butt. Sometimes they respawn really quickly. Sometimes they take a few seconds to respawn. Sometimes you'll put down the bomb that could have been the knockout on Death, and then one of the little guys will just run into it, and you'll be like, oh, I have to do more bombs. I'm gonna try to get it optimally, but I'm gonna be honest, it's very hard to get optimally, just for the fact that the bombs have to be really, really precisely placed to be able to get the 2 cycle or the 1 cycle. I believe he has a set pattern. I did try to look it up a little bit in the guides, but I didn't see anything on it. And then what we're going to do right here, normally we wouldn't get this, but just because, of course, it is a marathon again, we're going to grab that for safety. Oh, that was bad. Oh, goodness. I pushed the wrong button there. Just for safety, we're going to grab that. And then we're just going to take Dragon here, and we're going to fly over this, just because we want to try to take as much damage as possible. Because Mouse took extra damage, we're actually going to use Golem here on this first phase. So ideally you can get this done in 2 bomb shoots, but we don't want to take any extra damage because most of the other bosses are not that bad. Death made me cuss a few times. He does 10 to 12 damage if you hit him, which pretty much kills everything in 1 hit. Ooh, gosh, that was so close. These little flying specters, I'm not sure their actual name, is what makes this fight so difficult, because they can just get your bombs and destroy them. And then what we're going to do to be safe, we're just going to finish this with Dragon compared to shooting a bomb. It's a little bit slower, but when he gets down to about 2 bars, it can be quicker just to swap and not chance dying. Because if you get into a really bad spot, then they can just kill you. We do have the potion on Samson, and then we're also going to get the extra potion up here as well, just to be safe. There's also 2 health upgrades here. It's looking like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 8. So we're going to have him get the second one in this level, and then we're going to have Samson grab this one. Hey, look, my child's coming over. Hi, buddy. Oh, you want to play with Daddy? Hold on, let Daddy finish this, okay? Promise. This is a real lot of platforming, and this level's really not that bad, so to say. It's just really difficult to do it optimally. I'm gonna go on this side, just so we can get the extra potion. I'm gonna try not to die. Okay, we have the potion. I do want to grab that, just to be safe. But we're gonna do this. Just because Mouse is almost dead. That's the joys of speedrunning with children. Sometimes they come in and they just smack your controller and you miss a jump. It happens. But we have extra characters, we can do this. We're just gonna go through. I have, how many lives do I have? It might be quicker and safer to die here, but I'm gonna try to just do it. Hi, Chunky. Give me 1 second, okay? I'm almost done, I promise. This final boss phase 1 is really easy. All you have to do is just bait the attacks over there, hit your 3 orbs and not move, and then we let him jump up. Optimally, we can do that. And then we hit him. And then what we're gonna do is, we're gonna go for the first turn. We're gonna try to boot him over here. I'm gonna try my best. Okay, I didn't get quick kill, but I still did half his HP. This is where kind of bullet spam gets into it. There's 5 that we need to dodge. 1, 2, 3. 4th one comes over. 4th one you want to wait. And then 5. And then we're going to place our bombs. Oh, we got it. Nice. And then timing is right on the victory lap. But yeah, that was honestly a pretty good run overall. It had a lot of early game mistakes, but I think that it went pretty well. That wasn't a fast kill on the final boss. Optimally, where he goes behind the screen the first time, you can get him there. What I'd really recommend, a friend of mine named Ryan Ford runs this game as well. He's got a really good guide on this that shows it. It's really hard to get that optimally. So sometimes it can be better to take that 15-second loss instead of taking 8 damage and being one-shot. It comes down to that. But if you did... Oh my gosh, my follower alerts are on. I can't turn those off. I'm gonna do this. My OBS is messed up. I cannot disable those. I feel so bad now. I'm so sorry. I hope that deleting it fixed it. Yeah, I'm not being funny. I've been dealing with it for like months. But like, if I get a raid, it'll blast really, really heavy metal in my ears. Oh man. People love seeing that. But if you do want to try to learn this game, I do recommend it. It probably takes an hour, hour and a half, depending on how comfortable you can get with it. And you can go through it. It's a really fun speed run. It comes down to like what you want to do. There's a lot of faster strats. I did a run earlier today that was on 16 pace, and I just kind of threw it away with, you know, really bad RNG on death. But this is a fun game. I do really appreciate Dave letting me show it off to you and allowing me to learn it. I apologize I couldn't show off any of the zips. Like I said, I only had about 5 days. I spent the weekend in the hospital with health issues. But getting the zips down is really awesome because you'll basically just see mouse start glitching through the side of the screen and then just go up, and then you'll come out with the level either done or at the boss, and it's just like, what just happened? It's really good to see it. But I once again appreciate it for letting me show it off and learn it. But thank you for all the GGs in chat too. But yeah, with that being said, I appreciate it all. I'll go ahead and I'll sign off. Hopefully I can do the next one that comes up, because it was a lot of fun to really learn a new game, especially kind of in more of a like 12-hour challenge kind of thing. But it was also good to be able to show it off and hopefully get other people into running it, because I would have never played this game. Like I said, Ryan is one of my friends and runs it, but I would have never picked it up, and now I want to get a better time in this, but I also kind of want to learn Gimmick too. But yeah, thanks Dave for having me. I really appreciate it. Take care, everyone.